All right, we are live. Expedition to Castle Ravenloft, in the 13th Age, session 16. And tonight we are following up on the interrogation of Paulo, I think. When we left, focusing on the wrong person here. When we left off at the end of last week, you guys had burnt down 1d4 buildings. Let's see, that was the full 4.
Of course it was.
No, we didn't burn them down. We just contributed to them burning down.
Yes, the demon burnt them down. Let's be correct about this.
Yeah, let's place blame where it's due here.
I'm like 90% sure we threw fire at one point. That was a spell that happened. It might have been me.
So,
I'm honestly not sure.
It ended up being a really, really late night of firefighting led by Ireena, as she's become the default leader of the town as they try and pick up after their heavy losses from the zombie incursion. And as it turns out, as the fire spread to nearby buildings, because this was on the edge of town where they hadn't cleared things off yet, pretty much some of those buildings had burst like cysts, and the undead that had been previously locked inside shambled out in flames and attacked the firefighters. So they lost a few people that night as well. And as we discussed briefly before we started the broadcast, Bryant remembers correctly, you guys pretty much trashed the entryway to the mansion for the Burgomaster's house. And because you kicked in the door because you heard noises, you had that fight with Paulo in the main area before you knocked over and broke an expensive vase, and you destroyed a piece of furniture, and now you've got this bloody, soot-covered person who doesn't look at all like Paul, her butler, sitting in, because the illusions wore off, sitting and dirt bleeding onto one of her guest chairs in the sitting room just off the side. And she just comes in after this long night of firefighting. She's been up for probably more than 24 hours because of all the things she was doing prior to that. And there's it was probably Heinrich just grinning at her. It's like, we were right. Your butler's an asshole. and she just shook her head and went up to bed because she had nothing left for you.
To be fair, it wasn't much of a fight with Paulo. We just kind of threw Saul at him, and Lori was pretty done. Unfortunately, that's still kind of broken.
Wait, is Saul still with us, or did we send him?
We propped. He was still unconscious, so we propped him up in a chair, and he's been unconscious ever since.
So there's 2 bleeding and soot-covered people that she doesn't recognize sitting in guest chairs.
And a broken front door.
Yep, and I think that one of the last things that we said was that Kenthis said he was going to be sitting up and watching the prisoners and carving a likeness of Paulo.
Yes. Did I already roll for that, or do I even need to, or do you want me to? Or?
Well, if this is something that you're going to use later on, then maybe we should roll for it just to get an idea of how good it is.
Okay. You continue for 1 second. I don't have my dice roller open. Never mind. I have it open now. Okay. I got a 2, so not ideal. And plus woodcraft, plus... what is... It's dexterity, right?
Yeah, dexterity or intelligence, I would take either.
Okay, so that comes out to about an 8. So it's a really crappy.
Did you add your level?
Yes, I rolled a 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, because you're like level 6 right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're right, it goes up.
Yes.
Well, that was silly of me. You know what's really interesting is I don't think I've even been changing that when we leveled up to level... Or no, this is the first time we've leveled up. But,
Yeah. So it's 2 plus your level, so that brings it up to 8, and then plus your background, the relevant background if there
12,
is one.
And then I mean, it's +4, so it comes out to 12. Plus the knife is magic, so it's 13.
There you go. So it's recognizable as a male figure with his general shape, but is it Paulo?
We carved a meeple.
Pretty much. You've got pretty much a generic toy soldier quality.
Okay,
The anatomy's right, but forget the features.
fair enough.
Maybe he shaved a little bit too much off his nose or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So when morning comes around, I assume somebody's with Paulo and Saul all night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on him.
All right. So when Ireena comes down from her rest, probably around 8 o'clock in the morning, which is a late start around these parts, what does she see? What's the setup here?
Well, I think we've got those two tied in chairs, and we are kind of. Well, I imagine one of us, whoever's got the last shift, is watching them, and the other two are sleeping. Is the way I picture it. Tell me if you see it any other way, guys.
No, that sounds about right to me. Saul's just tied up because otherwise he can't. He keeps falling out of the chair.
Oh, actually, I was thinking maybe before we discuss anything important, we should get Saul out of there, because he's exactly the kind of person that could be bribed for information.
There you go. So, speaking of bribes, when you turn them out, do you give them something for the evening's activities? I don't think that's the type of relationship you had with him.
No. No, it's really not.
I mean that we don't want him to know our information because other people could get it from him.
Yeah.
I don't mean that we want anything from him.
Congratulations, you're not dead.
Yeah, we're sending him on his life.
I would say Heinrich could heal him up a bit. And,
I think Heinrich talked about giving him some money, I think, maybe. That was before we knocked him out, though, I think.
Maybe he doesn't remember.
Well, I think to expedite this, we'll say that Heinrich heals him up and gives him a few coins for his trouble. Not enough, and certainly not to cover his debts, but just a little something to smooth over.
Oh, wait a minute. No, we did promise we'd pay his debts. But all of his debtors are dead now, so...
Yeah, except for the demon who got away.
Well,
We're going to
no,
make him dead.
Remember the people who looked like they were from his club were all... Well, no, he was gambling with cultists and he didn't know it. Okay, yeah. just a few coins then, and certainly not enough to cover his debts. But who's he owe money to now? So
Yeah, we'll tell him as he goes on his way. I'll be sure to say, keep an eye out for things. We may need your help again, Saul. So
with that, he breaks out into a run. He has no intention of ever being seen by you again. Not that he knows that you've actually met his wife and know where he lives. Excuse me a second, my headphone just beeped. Alright, so that leaves you alone with Paul.
What do we want to get out of this guy?
Good question.
I mean, I'm upset that he tried to have someone stab us. But I
Yeah.
don't know what more we can get from him.
You can start there, and we'll go on from there.
I would be an
And we can-
advocate for hanging.
no, hanging's too good for him. Hanging's too good for him. That is a really good question, though. What specific information do we want to find out? Because I mean, obviously, we want to know everything we can from him, but if we have an end goal in mind, it will go slightly better. I think.
I mean, didn't he already tell
makes
us what his
it easier
purpose
for
was?
me. I think he did lay out some stuff. I think he laid out the purpose of summoning the demon.
Okay.
I'm
And-
sorry. Yeah, the demon.
And the purpose for that was to kill the
Oh, yeah,
lord of the
yeah.
castle.
Yeah, and I think this is the first or second time, because maybe no, this is the second time that in one day or in as many days that you've heard someone refer to the master of the castle as being some evil thing that needs to be killed. Because Madame Ava dropped some clues for you too when you were concluding your business with her, and she didn't want, before she told you all to go and never come back.
I'm sorry that I don't quite have this down in my head, but I seem to remember there was some sort of there were three main kind of lords of the realm, sort of, who had this power divided among them. Is that something?
Yeah, three spots of power. One in the forest, one in the swamp, and one in the mountain. And we killed the power in the mountain, and I kind of became the power of the mountain.
Yeah, we made a new power of the mountain.
Yes.
And Madame Ava, do we know that she owns one of those things?
I
No,
don't think
you
we
don't
know
know.
for sure. We don't know for that for sure. And we know the hag is Baba Zelena. Yeah, we just know that that Paulo wanted to destroy the master of the castle. I guess we can ask him about that. Find out. Okay, why did he want to kill the master of the castle, and what's the master of the castle's deal? Why did he think he needed a demon to
Get her done.
get it? Yeah, to get it done.
Yeah.
That would be a
All
good.
right. So we have two questions. Why did he try to have you killed? Why was the demon summoned to kill the master of the castle? If you want, you can prep one more question here before we launch into the scene.
I'd like to ask him if you guys feel that this is important. I want to know what his opinion and knowledge of Madame Ava is.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, because I mean, we think, but we're not sure that Madame Ava either has or is one of those nodes of power. So.
All right. So, when you begin to question Saul, is Ireena out? Is she down yet, or are you starting the questioning before she is available?
I think we should wait for her, just to let her in on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't hurt.
I mean, we want her confidence. She's basically our last hope for confidence and an ally in this town. We
keep burning bridges.
Yes, literally.
Not just bridges.
We've burned half the
Houses,
town.
bridges. We're indiscriminate when it comes to burning things.
Well, you haven't burnt the tavern yet.
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 Next.
We just stunk it out.
I'll remind you, with all the botched rolls that Kenthis has, he's yet to be responsible for any of this havoc.
That is technically true.
Yes, mostly.
Oh no, actually, that's not true at all. I think I contributed to the fire with one of the spells last night, and I'm the one who threw the potions on that. Or I at least did. I did something with fire in the church, and
But I think those were successful rolls.
Oh yeah, that was successful. So technically, I haven't botched anything.
Exactly.
Well, if that's what he does when he's successful at rolling, we should all be glad that he's really bad at rolling.
Exactly. I'm not even trying to get explosions. I just keep throwing stuff on fire.
That's the problem with sorcerers. You never know what you're going to get. Boom or bust. All right, so you're going to start this before she comes down, you said, right? No, after. After.
Yeah, after.
All right.
And I guess we could ask her if is there anything that she wants to know about.
Okay. So she comes down in the morning, and she is down late for late for her routine. Not that you would necessarily know, but people in this type of setting generally get up pretty early in the morning. Not with the dawn necessarily, but like within an hour. So she's down late. I mean, this would be like 8 o'clock, late breakfast sort of thing. And of course, none of the house staff is around. The only house staff that's here is the man you claim to be Paulo, and he's not in good shape and tied to one of the chairs to prevent him from escaping. And so there's no food ready. There's no hot caffeinated beverage or restorative to rouse her from her funk and get her moving for the day, another day of impossible tasks. And instead, she has you guys rambling about the place and keeping an eye on Paulo, and just waiting on her to show up so that you can impress her with everything that you've done.
I have the feeling we're the equivalent of the dog bringing home a dead rat. We're very proud of it, but everybody else is just disgusted.
She certainly doesn't want to look at you right now, but clearly there's nothing else to do or no one else to address. So she
We're it, baby. We're it.
So she walks over to you guys and says, "Okay, slowly, one at a time, what did you do to my house? And did you have anything to do with that fire last night?"
Saul broke the lamp. Should we just instantly blame it on Saul? And the vase.
And she looks at you and she says, "Who is Saul and how do you know he did it?"
Well,
Wait a minute. I might have been kidding when I said that. I don't know.
No, I'll go straight into it. Well,
Let's say that he heroically tackled the. I mean, it's not technically false.
Yes, it's not technically false. It's not entirely true either.
Neither is like everything we tell people.
Okay, that's true. I can't deny that's entirely true.
Well,
the motivation, the mechanical momentum applied to Saul to help him heroically tackle.
we chased down this known criminal, and I'm going to point at Paulo, the leader of the cult. Do you think we should not say this, sir?
I'm thinking maybe we should not start with the part where we hunted down Paulo against her wishes.
Well, we didn't hunt down Paulo. We did not. She
Right,
didn't
but I'm
want us
saying
to
we
hunt
should
down
say that
Paul.
we didn't hunt him down. We should
She
say
didn't
we
want us to do anything with Paul. She said nothing about Paulo. Two can
Right.
play at this, splitting hairs game.
I say that we say we were just hunting down cultists in general, and Paul came after us like the bastard he is. It's not our fault.
Well, we'll just say we hunted. We chased him back to. We chased a criminal back to the house. We chased this guy back to the house.
Well, I mean, we should tell her about the demons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we need to blame the fires on the demons.
Yeah.
Which is true. It was their fault.
Again, it's not entirely false.
Yeah, I mean, we contributed, but they started it.
The demons. We were looking to find some clues about the cultists to try and get this whole mystery solved and try and get down to the root of what was happening with the town and with the corruption and all that. And the cultists actually showed up where we were, and they summoned a demon. And that demon lit the house on fire. We took care of the cultists. The demon got away, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say that. You know how much I hate demons. He got away, and one of the cultists managed to escape and ran back here. And he's locked himself in. We were afraid for Paul's life, so we broke in, and come to find out, he was inside. And that's when we had to deal with him.
And I'll lift up my portrait of Paulo at this point and just show with my hand, like point first to the carving, then point to the guy on the couch, just as a visual aid, and to make sure she knows what it is.
The dog with the dead rat comparison is really, it's becoming more and more accurate.
Okay. So she just stands there trying to fit this together and make sure that she understands what you're saying, because it sounds crazy. And she's like, okay, so this guy sitting here, he's Paulo?
Yes.
Yes, I continue gesturing between the carving and
The
the...
head
Thought last night you said he was Paul.
Well, we haven't seen Paul. So, maybe this guy took care of him. I don't know. We should probably
Or
look
maybe
into
they're
that.
one name. I mean,
How
it's
did you
a
even-
one-letter difference.
How did you even think of that? That's the kind of outside-the-box thinking that gets you promoted to detective.
Yeah, we stopped going after Paul after you insisted that we don't do that. We completely dropped that line of inquiry, and we went after we looked in other areas, namely this guy Saul, who is a known reprobate around town. I don't know if you know him. His wife is a dear. His mother-in-law is equally wonderful, but this guy Saul is a reprobate. He owed money all over town. Some people said he liked chopping off toes. I don't know, but we went and we followed
Four-finger
him.
Paul. Four-finger Saul, rather.
we followed him, and we had to deal with him to try and catch the cultists. And it turns out the guys he owed money to were cultists, and they showed up. They summoned a demon, tried to kill us, burned down half the town. It would have been much worse if we
That
weren't
was like
there.
less than a 16th of the town.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Sorry, yeah.
I'm very that it's not half the town. It's only 4 houses.
Yeah, and it would have been much worse if we weren't involved.
And also, while we're on the topic of fires and houses falling down, I would really recommend you start clearing houses, because that's just an accident waiting to happen.
She glares at you. I was going to do this thing where her head is reeling and you guys just keep spinning out the bullshit and she can't keep up, and it's the old razzle-dazzle, and then you put out that line and she just... I hate you. So, clearly, she does not want to have anything to do with this, and her takeaway from all this spin is that she's got to reduce this to something that she can handle right now. And what she's hearing from you guys is that this guy is probably responsible for the fires that she spent all night fighting.
Definitely.
And
Yes.
she much prefers that to accusing you because, well, you're not already prisoners and he is.
And
So-
we're her bodyguards, so it'd be really weird if we did something wrong.
Right now, I don't think she wants you anywhere near her body or property or anything else. But that's one thing that you really can't focus on right now because she's got a huge day ahead of her. So she's going to say, okay, we don't have a place to keep this guy locked up right now, so I want you to take him out to the horse stalls in the back and keep him guard and don't go anywhere. When I have time to deal with this, I will come back for you or I will send for you. Just stay here. Don't touch anything.
All
Don't
right.
go anywhere. And she backs out the door and she tries to close the busted door a little bit, but it just falls off the hinges and onto the floor. And she
We can fix that
throws her
for
hands
you.
up in disgust and stalks down the street towards the tavern.
I yell, "Stay safe."
Rub that salt in just a little
It was a genuine goodbye.
So, obviously she's not going to be dealing with you guys right now.
All right, she doesn't hit us. We have an ally.
I think that might be a little bit of a stretch.
I call it a
She
win.
hasn't tried to arrest. Actually, no, you're right. She hasn't tried to arrest us or kill us. She's totally an ally.
Yep, I call
Or
it a
at
win.
least the closest we're gonna get to one.
All right, so I think we should actually do what she asked and haul this reprobate back to the stalls, back to the horse stalls,
Yes.
and make
Still
sure
on
that
the
there's
chair.
no lanterns lying around or anything like that.
No.
I don't think she'd like it if we burnt down her house too.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, but we'll keep him in the chair though, because
Oh yeah, I can definitely pick him up and haul him around.
because if she's gonna make us sit on our ass all day, I'm gonna follow I'm gonna follow her orders to the letter, even if it's really not what she actually wants.
Well, you've got a couple of ways that you can go now, and they're not exclusive. You've got the questions for information that you'd like to get out of Paulo, and then there's also the question as to whether you're actually going to stay still or not, and that may depend on the answers you get. So, I'm going to make this a skill challenge-ish. Since there's 3 of you and 3 questions, I guess each of you will take a turn in interrogation and roll a check, and we will see what kind of answer you get based on that.
All right, and our 3 questions were, just to remind myself, and so I can actually get them written down. It was, why did he have it try and get us killed, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Who is the head of the castle, and why were they trying to kill him? Why did they feel they needed to summon demon hit for him?
Right.
And what was the third one?
What does he know about Madame Ava?
Right. Raghnar, do you want to start off with the first question? I think I should handle the demon question because demons.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's definitely more your forte.
And I think Kenthis can take the Eva one.
Yes, whereas me being upset about people trying to kill me is very much up my alley.
Exactly.
All right. So, what order you want to tackle this in, or it doesn't matter to you?
Let me go first, because I think, honestly, mine is the least important of the... I mean, he may have just wanted to kill us just because he met us. People have a way of doing that.
We have that effect on people.
Yeah, we do.
When you wake up in the morning and you meet one asshole, you met an asshole. Wake up in the morning and everybody you meet is trying to kill you, it's you.
To be fair, not everybody's trying to kill us. We haven't met everybody.
All right.
All right, so yeah, I'll go first. I'm gonna go with captain of the mercenary company for this, and I'm gonna use wisdom. Or actually, what would you prefer, wisdom or charisma or something?
Well, I like to go 2 different routes here because with any check, just to give you guys option. I figure that for you, it's either going to be charisma because that's the standard for this thing, or maybe you're trying to intimidate him, and that might involve your strength somehow.
Okay.
And I've seen people do that.
Intimidating, I think, is definitely more Raghnar. I think we're nailing this down. That intimidation and brute force is definitely Ragnar's thing. So I'll use strength.
Straighten out a horseshoe
break
while you
him.
talk to him.
I don't want to break him. I just want to, make him wish that I'd broken him. All right, so gonna be egads. That's horrible. That's 17. I rolled a 2.
Well, it's good to see Kenthis doesn't have a monopoly on that. So,
Nobody can roll perfect for her.
I imagine then that you loom over him and you cuff him roughly a few times, giving him the idea that you're not really hitting him as hard as you could. I could really inflict pain instead of just moving you around a little bit. And the one time you just you only meant to clip the side of his head, but you ended up boxing his ear and knocking him onto the floor, and he's senseless for like an hour. He's totally uncooperative. And pretty much the only thing that you got out of him was hateful glares the entire time.
All right, after he's awake again, I want to try that. Just so you guys know.
Now it's somebody else's turn.
What is the way I'm going to go with this? Intimidation would be the way to go, but seeing as he's already been kind of made into pudding,
you may want to try good copper out.
Or less bad cop.
Yeah.
Or use an actual stick. It might do less damage.
Yeah. When he wakes up, I'm gonna. So, did you actually get an answer out of him?
No, because failed roll.
Okay. When he wakes up, I'm gonna get him some water and maybe get him a snack to eat from the kitchen. Hey, you okay, buddy? You doing all right? We're just trying to get information out of you here. Raghnar didn't mean to hurt you. He was just trying to get some information. And
then from somewhere outside, yes, I did.
Well, he didn't want to hurt
God helping.
He didn't want to hurt you that much. Put it that way. He doesn't.
That's true.
And we're trying to get you to help us to help you. And the best way to do that is to give us information. Now, we saw that there was a demon involved with this whole situation, and we know that your cult summoned Chernavog, the aspect of Chernavog, to go do what, I don't know. And that's kind of what I wanted to know is, what was your intentions as far as why did you feel you need to bring such an evil as a demon into this land to try and deal with whoever was at the castle? Is he really that evil? And is he really need that much dealing with? I mean, sure, there's been some incidents here and there, and he's kind of a weird guy, but is it really necessary to send a demon after him? So I'm going to use my Demon Hunter of the Crusaders, try and get him to go along with this. It's not my strongest, but I'm going to use my intelligence roll to try and use all the facts I know about demons and about why that's a bad idea, and try and get out of him why he did it, and what he knows about the owner and head guy in the castle.
All right.
So let's see here.
Don't roll a 2.
13. So 13 plus 6 is 19. Plus 1 for my intelligence is 20. Plus 4, 24.
That sounds reasonable. All right.
So all you missed, Kenthis, is that Raghnar beat him up till he was unconscious.
Beat up Paulo.
Beat up Paulo, yeah.
Again?
Again.
Why?
He tried to get information out of him, and he didn't.
He rolled a 2.
He didn't know his own strengths. We'll put it that way.
If I was here, I wouldn't have allowed that. But I guess perfect timing on that one.
He got a little bit zealous, and he probably had Heinrich there, goading him on.
So while I'm out popping a squat, he's.
All right.
You guys immediately start torturing people.
And then I'm trying to get information from him about the castle and why he decided to summon a big giant demon.
And Bryant rolled much better. So he manages to revive Paulo, and let's say he cleared the room and it was just him and Paulo. Just between the two of us, sharing an interest in demonology, and why do you need to summon such a badass to kill the master of the castle? And Paulo, probably still not entirely in his full wit, from the drubbing he took, is starts talking crazy shit about the master of the castle being immortal and living on human blood, and every few years he gets active again and starts masquerading as the son of whomever he was previously, and since he became active, Baba's Lena was very keen on seeing him dead in the most certain way possible, and he's got the impression that she's tried to kill him before and failed. Then it was her idea to summon the demon, and it was her that had founded the cult. And she's been around for a really long time too, but he has no idea as to whether she's actually immortal or not. Just that she hasn't died of old age, so far as he knows.
Internally, I'm very happy that I killed a demon summoner.
They're right up your alley.
Yes, great! I killed the right person. Excellent.
Give you another background point if that,
Excellent. I killed the right person.
All right, so it's up to Kenthis' turn to do a little interrogation.
Well, okay, so I've talked to you about this before, but I'm sorry, I'm a little unclear on it. When my powers say daily, you want that to be every time we have a full rest, not actually daily.
That's correct.
Okay, so I don't actually have a spell that I can use, but I guess I have okay charisma. So we know...
Well, what spell is that?
The Unearthly Glamour. I've used it recently.
All right.
I don't know if I necessarily have anything I want to ask Paulo. I think.
If you want to do a ritual and kind of extrapolate an effect from that, I think you can still do that even if the spell's spent.
Okay.
Do you have ritual casting?
Sorry, your
I don't know if you get this my microphone?
It worked out for me. No, it was just my internet.
Okay.
Thing.
Yeah, I don't know if you get ritual casting as a sorcerer, but I don't think that that having used the spell prevents you from doing a ritual based on it.
Okay. Well, here's my question right now that just occurred to me. I mean, you really marked him, didn't you? Like, he's bruised up.
Yeah.
Didn't Ireena tell us not to touch anything?
He didn't know. She said not to touch anything. He's a one. She said not to touch anyone.
He's a one.
Yeah, she wasn't
Like my
entirely
little
all there
brother.
to remember to tell you,
I will exploit
don't
every single loophole given to me. And she said nothing about beating him up, just not to bring up anything else.
I think I'd rather. I'll save my interrogation for another time, if at all. I don't have anything I necessarily want to ask right now.
Well, that
we were
was
going
the question about Madame Eva.
Right, I was thinking I'd wait until Ireena got back, but
All right. So if you don't want to take a shot for that third question right now, that's fine. You could save that interrogation attempt for another time, and even change the question if that's what it is.
actually, all right,
So
I'm not gonna drag it out. I'm sorry, I'm being really indecisive. I'll just do it.
All right.
So I'll go in. And
It might be better that
hey,
Ireena
buddy.
doesn't see what we do.
You think?
Maybe.
All right.
So Kenthis has the room.
I go in and I'm like, hey, buddy. Sorry, my other two friends. The first one tortured you, and the second one, I don't know what he did. But I'm not gonna do that. I just want information, and you can rest assured that if you don't give it to me, then my other friends, once I turn my back, they'll beat the crap out of you. So it's easier if you just tell me now. That's what we
That
all
sounds
want.
like intimidation again to me.
All right, I'll roll for that.
Yeah, my friends are much scarier,
Natural
more
20.
intimidating. Oh, jeez. Okay. So you're
Do you want me
asking.
to add it up, or are you just gonna?
No, natural 20. You ace this. All right. So he doesn't think Baba's Lena knows or knew, because presuming her past tense, that he found out, but she's actually Madame Eva's sister. And Madame Eva uses a glamour to try and cover up some,
Uh-huh.
but Madame Eva is also a hag.
So, but Madame Ava is not aware of that, as far as he knows.
She doesn't know that he knows.
Oh.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. He
we
doesn't
know
think that
he
Madame
knows.
Eva or Baba's Lena know that he's uncovered this connection.
Okay.
So, and he knows that there's supposed to be a third sister or hag living down in the swamp on the, I'm going to say, eastern end of the valley. You just follow the river down.
Okay, so she almost certainly has one of those power, I don't know what you call them, hotspots.
The Fanes.
Things, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he'll confirm that Baba's Lena was one of the, was a guardian of the Mountain Fane, and he suspects, as you do, that the other two sisters are both hags and that they also guard Fanes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Paulo. Appreciate your cooperation. And then Kenthis is right back to his usual, completely uncharismatic self. It's like for that brief moment he was.
Don't you have like an 18 charisma though?
I do, but I haven't been playing it that way. Maybe
I'm just imagining Raghnar staring at you as you walk out. It's like, that's it? You just asked him a question?
Mm-hmm. All that sorcery, it gives you a bit of an edge.
All right. So the question is now, what do you guys want to do with the information that you have? Are you going to sit here and wait on Ireena's pleasure, as it were, or are you going to go out and interact more with the world around you?
I feel like if we don't wait, we're gonna lose an ally.
Yeah, I don't.
Ally, because he's the only person who doesn't hate us.
I don't think we got any information that needed to. That needs immediate action.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it would be good to go and do something, but yeah, let's not burn the last bridge unless we absolutely have to.
Now, internally, we could talk about.
Figuratively or literally.
do we want to go and kill the other nodes? Go kill the other things?
I don't know.
I don't know if that'd be a good thing or a bad thing. It's probably a bad thing.
Well, they're tied to the master in the castle, aren't they? Isn't that what the story was?
I thought they were tied as powers against the...
That wasn't the story. We discovered it through ley lines, that there was sort of like a back... this is the wrong term, but there was backwash from the castle sending a darker energy to the... I see you grinning, because I know that's not the right term, but basically that it was being contaminated by the castle.
All right. Well,
That's what I remember.
of the three of you, Kenthis has it the most right. So the way that these things sit at intersections of ley lines, and that there just happens to be in the case of the mountain fane, that there's a ley line that connects the mountain fane to the castle as well. So in addition to that, when Kenthis is using his magic, which it's part of your one unique thing, that this is the ley line backstory thing that your magic is based on. Excuse me. You could feel like an evil vibration from down that way. It wasn't corrupting the fane yet, but it was certainly encroaching towards the fane. What you guys knew from Ember's interactions with the circle before he bonded with it, with the Fane before he bonded with it, is that it had been bound to somebody else, and when he bonded with it, that took it away from that other person.
Okay.
So, at the very least, if you go and you interact with these Fanes, you could be stealing power from somewhere else.
I'm gonna take a really wild guess here and say that it's someone who we're going to eventually have to kill. Especially since it leads to the castle, which has all that dark energy. So my next vote would be to investigate the Thanes. Since we know it at least leads to something important.
Well, we suspect that Madame Ava is connected to one of those things. We haven't even investigated the hag in the swamp. Did we want to start with her, or did we want to go and deal with the known quantity in Madame Ava? Because
The bonus is that the hag in the swamp hasn't told you to stay away like Madame Ava has.
Yeah, that's true. That's because she hasn't met us. Again.
What are we trying to gain from this? Are we just trying to gain to draw power away from the castle, or are we? What's our end game with dealing with with?
Well, even if we don't care who we're taking it from, at least we get the power, you know.
That's a good point.
Question 2: can you stack Thanes? Because if we can get if we can get your character Ember just completely roided up on Mountain Thane, Swamp Thane, and Forest Thane, you'll be invincible.
Yeah, maybe if you were to revisit a Fane, even go back to the mountain one, you might be able to determine that.
Of course, I would guess that Madame Ava has the Forest Thane, so it's not like... I mean, I guess technically we could kill her, but I'm thinking that would be very close to evil, to just murder her outright.
Also, I don't think we'd be able to stack them just from a metagame standpoint of the Fan of the Mountain would count it as 2 magic items for me, so...
Oh, you could certainly exceed the limit. It's just that at the point that you exceed the limit, those quirks don't become optional any longer.
It's exactly like steroids.
I would become very unstable at that point. So keep that in mind, is what I'm saying.
Alright. So with that in mind, it seems like maybe our best choice is to go to the swamp and investigate that Fane and see how that goes.
See what she knows about the castle.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to present the other side, not necessarily because I think it's a good idea, but I just want to examine it. I would think that with the castle, I feel like there's probably something important to be learned there, since everything seems to be drawing us in that direction. I don't mean that in a metagamey way. I mean, we're literally seeing magic connections and demons going there. But do we want to tip our hand and announce our presence to the castle, or do we want to just, as you're saying, go to the swamp?
Given the waves we're making, I'm pretty sure if anybody in the castle really cares, they probably know we're here.
Good point. So you think they already... we are...
They probably suspect that somebody, maybe not necessarily know of us specifically, but they probably suspect or know that somebody is going around and making waves in the area. Because
Right.
not just town, I mean, but in terms of dealing with the Visanti, going up to the hill, and all that stuff. If they've got anybody paying attention to town, they've probably noticed the stuff we're doing.
Alright, so question 2, do we want them to perceive us as a wild card and therefore potentially a threat, or do we want to announce ourselves to them and either cement ourselves as a threat or a non-threat, which would probably be a lie, but...
What we could do, and keep it in perspective, is that just because we go into the castle doesn't necessarily mean we have to confront the master of the castle.
Right.
We can treat it like an expedition to gather information, because and we also know we have to go in there for the Sun Sword as well.
If I were to name a mission of that nature, I might call it Expedition to Castle Ravenloft. Yeah, I don't necessarily mean we have to confront him in an aggressive way, but I'm just envisioning like a stream of assassins trying to like eliminate the variables.
Yeah. If we do something really out of character and go in there and be like, quiet, we might actually get in there and get out without anybody being the wiser.
And if we don't get out, if we don't do it quietly, it'll probably end up blown up in the end anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
It's a win-win.
I'll tell you, the offline group has gone to the castle already prematurely, and they tried quiet, and then they did something very, very unexpected, and they're in the middle of the castle and they have no freaking idea how to get out. It's been a lot of fun watching them deal with that, but yeah, the whole uncharacteristic thing has to be cracked.
Yeah, our stumbling and bumblings tend to be a little bit more bull in a china shop.
Yeah. We're a Jerry Bruckheimer movie. We're not an indie movie.
So what do you guys think? Do we still want to go to the swamp, or should we?
I think we go to this. I think our best bet is to start with the swamp.
All right. And let's make this clear. What are we hoping to gain there?
Information, if possible, from the hag, and if we determine the hag is in any way connected to the master of the castle, then maybe we take that power away.
All right. And I mean, she's almost certainly one of the. I would guess that she's the third sister.
But
It seems
yeah,
like it would be incongruous to have two sisters and then just a random.
then a random hag.
Yeah.
And do we have? I know metagame we know, but in game, do we have an opinion about the head of the castle? I know Ember really.
We know about the creepy suitor.
Yeah. If people are enlisting demons to deal with this dude, then he's probably a pretty bad dude.
And the fact that he didn't crumple the demon just like we did probably is scary as all hell.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I might have missed this explanation, but what was Paulo's motivation for trying to kill the master of the castle? What's he trying to gain?
We don't know. He got knocked out too quickly.
Oh, right.
That was a failed check.
You're muted.
No. That wasn't the failed check. The failed check was asking why he wanted to kill us.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm sorry.
So
Yeah,
could we ask
no.
him?
He wasn't after you guys in particular. He was after. No, he wasn't after Strahd himself. He was a servant of Baba Zelena who wanted Strahd dead, and he got the idea that it was something personal.
Okay.
He never
Okay.
knew why.
So maybe he's trying to take away power from. Well, no, because the hags themselves were not the bearers of the Thane, as far as we know.
No,
We're the guardians.
But still, it was their domain, and he seems to be starting to encroach upon it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm starting to. If you if they're the guardians of the Fanes and she was trying to kill him in a personal vendetta, then what did he do or tried to do to earn that? And then remember your conversation with Madame Ava.
Is that the one where she said go away, or the one where she said go
I think
away and
that
never
was
come
before
back?
that.
That was the one when she kicked everybody out and held you back and then asked you a favor to...
To never come back.
So,
that was the favor. Just go away forever.
well, I think, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not conflating the two games here. I think that she had hinted at the fact that the master of the castle is an evil son of a bitch, and nothing happens in the valley without him knowing it, and she didn't want to get on his wrong side. And
Okay.
then she launched into the whole go away and never come back thing. That's how I remember it.
Yeah, that sounds
Alright, last question where my memory's a bit foggy. Did we provoke the hag, or did she just sort of flip out on us?
I think she flipped out on you because you invaded her domain. Because she was in the
was crossing the
underground
circle.
sub basement, and you caught her unawares on the evening that she was going to do the big ritual.
Okay.
And she did attack us first. I do remember that.
Yes,
Yeah.
she did.
A Fergus, too.
Yes. Can't have that.
Can't have it.
That's the last risk on that encounter is the 8 Fergus. He got better.
He got better.
He's on the mend, yeah.
All right, so I think we have a plan that we're gonna ask the last remaining hag to see if
Not last.
last one
Second
that'll
last.
talk to us,
Right.
and see what she thinks of the head of the castle, and see what's going on there.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Yeah,
But we'll wait till after we talk to Ireena. She may change our mind.
All right. So I
Right.
guess the question is, when you see Ireena, are you going to share any of this information with her?
I vote yes. As long as she promises to keep it on the down low.
I think she's smart enough to know what to share and what not to share.
I don't know. I can't think of any good reason not to. And I'm really trying to find a good reason not to share.
Instinctively don't want to share.
It's not that. It's that this is potentially dangerous information.
And as her bodyguards, that would be wrong.
It's and yeah, and we don't know.
I mean, she's in danger.
Yeah, but this could be this could make the situation worse. Is there a way that we can water it down so that she gets the idea without having any specifics?
I don't know if I think we should water it down. I feel like we've alienated basically every single person we've come across, and she's totally next on that list. My vote would be to let her in to our circle of trust so that she feels a little bit more friendly towards us. But that's my vote. I'll defer to you guys.
Well, like I said, I couldn't think of any reason beyond that not to tell her. So
I think we give her the full info.
I,
Okay. So, with the late start that she's got, she comes in around 6 p.m. ish at night. A little early for her because she's used to keeping late nights. Because that's when the undead become a little bit more active, and now that they're in their unguided phase of unlife, and she sees that you guys have done exactly as she told you, and she doesn't believe it.
Yay! We follow directions.
Did she not notice Paulo just completely battered?
He's only a
He
little
fell
bit more
down the
better than he
stairs.
was.
Fell down the stairs, guys.
Hey, she
You
didn't
were
tell us.
on the ground floor to start.
She told us to go.
I know.
Tried to escape to the second floor.
No, we don't even have to say it. She told us to go to the barn, keep him there, and not go anywhere. We did that.
Oh, we were in the
And
barn
not
then?
touch anything. And not touch anything.
And not touch anything. We did that, so we're fine.
Alright.
She doesn't care what happened to him.
Does she know that it's Paul yet? She doesn't know that.
We've told her. She didn't really believe us, but we've told her.
Oh, I thought we specifically didn't tell her. We told her that we didn't know where he was.
Yeah, we kind of
Yeah,
did.
you
No,
guys
I
kind of
think
changed
she
your
kinda
story
went back
today
and
to
forth.
play that off.
We'll let her
Well,
figure that out in her own time.
It doesn't matter. None of the wait staff returned. None of the house staff returned over the course of the day. So she comes home to an empty house, except for the zombie that managed to wander in and take up residence in the kitchen. She dispatches it before coming out to see you all. She is still weary, but she doesn't have any of that cloudy look in her eye from having just woken up and not having sharpened for the day. So, the zombie wasn't your fault. It's totally your fault. You
Actually
took off the
was.
front door.
Totally was. Yeah, we not only did we break the door, we burned down the house that contained it.
No, that's Paulo's fault. I will pass that bucket all day long.
So, she comes out to see that you've done exactly what she said. She frowns a bit at Paulo's degraded condition, but she seems in a much more receptive mood to actually to figure out what the hell is going on here, and you guys kind of fill her in. By the time you're done telling your story,
And our plans.
let me pause here. So far, I've been avoiding icon dice. And I think it makes sense because you guys have been outside of the 13th age and the recognizable icons and all of that, that you really couldn't draw on those resources so easily. You know, it'd be a lot of flashback scenes, a lot of repetitive what happened before we ended up stuck in Ravenloft stuff. I was wondering if maybe we want to reintroduce icon dice not as an individual thing, but a group thing, and that maybe now you have a relationship die with the town through her.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And you guys could also have an icon die with Madame Ava, and eventually perhaps have one even with the master of the castle.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So,
Really like that idea.
so for Madame Ava, would you call that conflicted or negative?
I think it started
Is there a both
conflicting.
option?
They told us to go away and never go back. That's pretty negative.
Okay.
We were discommunicated. Or excommunicated.
Alright.
That's the right word.
And I would say then that definitely your relationship with Ireena right now is conflicted.
Yeah.
If we fix her door, things improve.
I think we have to do a little more than just fix the door.
Well, maybe it's like a metaphor for fixing everything else, you know? Maybe it's just a start. I don't know. I feel like we need an ally.
Yes, we do.
Conflicted is better than negative in this case.
That's true.
Just making a note of this. All right. So, at this point, we have one negative die with Madame Eva, and one conflicted die with Ireena, who represents the town. So, I would ask you to roll a relationship die and see what sort that in the sidebar there is a good topic of conversation for in between sessions. So I would say somebody should roll a d6 for your relationship die with Ireena.
Oh, a D what?
D6.
D6.
Alright, anyone have a D6?
Yes. I will roll a D6. It's a 2, which means we don't get anything.
Okay. So she absorbs all this information, and she thinks about it for a little bit, and she says, "Okay, I've met Madame Eva, and combined with her size and everything, yeah, I always thought she was part giant or something, but okay, this kind of makes sense. There's stories of old Barovia and temples and that have been lost and things like that. This could all kind of tie together. She kind of concedes that you guys have come on to something, but she seems to be at a loss as to how to deal with it, being that she's so busy with what's going on here in town, and she pretty much gives you her blessing to go and follow along this line.
Alright.
And he says that in the morning she'll arrange for people to start keeping guard on Paulo, because it's not safe to cut him loose, and they don't have time right now for a trial.
While we're on the topic of civil service, we should really consider clearing out those houses, because as was mentioned previously, accident waiting to happen. It's like The Walking Dead.
So are you volunteering to do this?
Come on.
Oh, I would be willing to, but I don't know if you guys are in a rush to get to the swamp. I think it would be a good idea to not leave the village filled with zombies.
Well, you're talking the work of several days, if not a couple of weeks, and it's not something that would play out as individual combat so much as perhaps a montage of you guys
Right.
assisting the crews and going door to door and cleaning out the town full of zombies. If you want to do that, which is fine, we could do that now. Is there anything else that you might be doing concurrent with that that might be a reason why you would delay trying to investigate these other fanes and clearing out the zombies instead? Or is that just it? Just trying to improve your relationship with the town?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure we have a couple weeks. And secondly, the main reason I wanted to do it was that, I mean, it is kind of an accident waiting to happen, and if we lose the town, then we don't have a friendly base. But I don't know if it's worth it. They can take care of themselves, I guess.
I think we should go to the swamp first, and then we can consider, depending on what we learn there, if anything, then we can perhaps consider spending a while in town clearing out zombies.
Alright, here's his third option that we don't necessarily... Is anyone else getting echo?
Yes,
Alright.
I am.
So, third option, would it at all be possible for us to set up almost like do like a one-day boot camp where we teach some of the villagers how to not get killed every time they do anything even slightly difficult?
Absolutely. That's also something that you could do to potentially improve your relationship, and it doesn't eat up anywhere near as much time. you see that. Oh no, that wasn't you. That was the other group. The other group tried to help out in town a little bit, and they saw what sort of tactics that the villagers were using and how effective they were or were not. So, but
We
this is
saw that a
definitely
little bit.
Yeah.
okay.
With the maggot guy.
Okay, so yeah, both groups then.
That's true.
Excellent. So, it's not like they're doing it entirely bad, but you could always give pointers and train up a group to work in better concert with each other.
Yeah, because it seemed like they were kind of going into the house where I would say, like, beat on a cooking pot and then wait for a couple minutes, you know? I'm ripping that completely from zombie fiction.
Yeah.
Hey, it's in there for a reason.
Yeah, I think that's a decent compromise between the two options, and then we can be on our way and get the hell down to the swamp, because I don't exactly think it's going to be a day trip to the swamp and back.
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
I would like to improve our relationship with the village.
Okay, so let's do it this way then. When we'll do the montage style here thing, and again, so this is going to be kind of like a group check. You have to have more successes than failures. We'll go around. We'll do the montage. Somebody chooses a. Let's say we start with John. You choose a challenge that then Raghnar has to overcome, and with his check, and then he chooses a challenge that Ember has to overcome, and so on until everybody's proposed a problem and a solution and made their rolls.
Okay.
So in getting these people to work together, what's the big problem here? What's the challenge that Raghnar has to overcome in order to make these more effective fighters?
All right. I'll. So let me think what they're doing wrong. They're charging straight into the house. They are.
So it's their tactics are all wrong, basically.
Yeah, their tactics are all wrong. I'm just trying to think of a specific problem that we haven't already dealt with.
Well, you don't even have to go off of what you saw earlier. I mean, maybe they were just an unusually good team that you happen to walk in on. Maybe everybody else is really, really horrible at what they're doing.
Well, I
Okay.
think that's a good place to start. Is to have Ragnar try and teach them better teamwork, because you were a captain of the guard or something like that, or a captain of
Yeah, I was a mercenary captain.
Mer-
I-
Yeah,
mercenary
maybe
captain.
formations. If you could teach them formations, like semicircles to hem in the zombies, that could be cool.
Well, I mean, I think just that comes under better tactics and teamwork. I
Yeah.
think is
All right, that's
learn to
enough to
work
that's enough to call for a roll.
Okay. So I will roll. Which intelligence or wisdom? Do you think?
Probably charisma.
Well, no. This is more about.
I would say
passing
intelligence
on what
or
I've done.
charisma, because this is either tactics, which I generally associate with intelligence, or charisma, which is the leadership thing.
It doesn't matter.
Because you were a captain, so you do your drill sergeant voice and intimidate them into doing it, even if they don't understand. So intelligence or charisma, either way would be fine.
They're both the same, so it doesn't matter. That's going to be a 24.
Okay, more than enough, because these guys are. This is kind of like an adventure tier thing. It's beneath you, to be honest, but that's just the situation you find yourselves in. So, he takes a group and starts drilling them on tactics and position, and how you check before you walk through a door, and all this good stuff. And there's one success. So Ragnar, before you pass off this group to Ember here, what's the big thing that you noticed these guys really need work on?
Morale. They're all they're all beaten down. They're not entirely sure that they can do this even after the training, so their morale is completely toast.
All right. So now handing them off to the other bruiser in the party, probably the only person you know that has more scars than you do.
So basically, I guess Raghnar comes and how would you present it to me? I guess is the question.
So they've got the skills, but they don't have the until they believe that they can actually do it. They're not going to be able to do it.
Okay.
They need the confidence that this is going to work out.
All right. I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna get them together and tell them some stories about some of my adventures as a demon hunter and the teams that I was on, and about how we always worked better when we were teammates, and we worked better together when we had each other's backs and when we trusted in each other, and when we all went in believing in each other and not questioning uh, whether the other person had their back, and making sure that we were able to get through the things all together. And I tell them about how, I saved this guy and then he saved me back later, and it's all part of a plan and part of a team. As long as you have a plan, as long as you work together and really believe that you can do it, you can overcome almost anything. So
All right, that's enough. You can make a roll.
guessing that's charisma.
Could be, or it could be wisdom because you're trying to appeal to their emotions, pulling on the heartstrings.
My charisma is better than my wisdom, but
It could go either way, man. It just kind of flavors what happened.
yeah, I'll go with charisma.
All right.
My stories may scare the crap out of them. They may never want to go near one of these houses again. But it's a 9. Let's see, 9, and that's 13, 19, 20 on the dot.
All right. So, as scary and frightening as your war stories can be, there is something inspiring about them, and how even that anybody so completely out of their depth can pull through simply because they've got a well-trained team member by their side. And even though they're not entirely confident in their own skills, they recognize now the context in which how the training is going to save them. And they have a little bit more faith in the tactics that they've been taught as being effective. But they're still not quite up to grade. So what about them still needs fixing before you consider them to be ready to fight the good fight here? What does Kenthis have to address for you?
I think that they have a general lack of proper, like he was saying, proper methods of dealing with them. Using the right tools for the right purpose, and playing to their strengths instead of the zombie's strengths.
So how would this be different than tactics?
That's true. It's the same as tactic. What else could they be?
If you're having trouble, I have something I know that Kenthis would have some success teaching. But
yeah, I nothing's popping to my head. Maybe I'll phrase it that way. I'll go to Kenthis and say, hey, I don't know if you caught anything dealing, with our dealings with these people. Maybe you saw something that we didn't. Maybe there's some way that you think they can improve.
all right. So I remember I'm seeing a lot of people in that fight that we witnessed them getting backed up against walls, generally being pinned down and fighting head on. And I'm assuming the zombies are kind of similar to animals in that they don't necessarily stop. You know, they're kind of, I guess the term would be mindless, if I can be cliche. So Kenthis is a hunter. He understands animals. He understands that sort of unstoppable ferocity. So he's going to teach them how to not face that head on. And to do that, I think we'll use a dummy kill house and just shove recruits against the wall, and they have to slip out of it in any way possible. Just have the rest of the recruits tackle one guy until he gets out of the house, teaching them escape artists.
So basically, you're going to have them gang up on each other to provide an exercise of sorts.
Yeah, an exercise that teaches them how to slip out of people trying to hold them in place, which is what zombies would do, I think.
Okay.
Maybe not specifically Kenthis's expertise, but
All right.
he'll make it work.
So, make a roll.
All right.
So, I would think that you're going to do a lot of demonstrating here, so that could be strength or dex.
Okay. I'll go with. I think my strength is actually higher. I'll go with dexterity. Roll to 3. I'm alternating between low numbers and high numbers.
Okay. So the problem, the thing that happens here, is that one of the recruits that you guys are training has been hiding a bite for all this time, and in the middle of this exercise, he turns zombie.
Wow.
And starts attacking the people in the exercise.
So this is like a really awesome training exercise, is what you're telling me.
So realistic.
It's so authentic. Can't even comprehend.
And to make things worse, people were kind of mimicking zombies from what they've seen over the last couple of weeks. So, if this guy's eyes hadn't actually rolled into the back of his head as he died on his feet, the breath of the damned as he leaned in and actually took a chunk out of the person that was trying to escape probably would have been a clue. So now you've got a zombie and you've got somebody who's obviously just bit by a zombie, and you got to deal with that.
Okay.
Ireena's not going to like this.
We're going to need to have a morale session too. And we'll send the guy or the multiple people who got bit to the butterfly farm, I guess. I don't know. What is the procedure here? Make them comfortable.
Well, it turns out that all the training that everybody had been given up to this point kicks in, and despite the initial chaos from when the guy turns zombie and attacks the others, the group kind of snaps together real quick and takes care of the problem, no problem. And they save the guy's life in the sense that he's not going to be eaten by a zombie right now, but everybody knows that he's on the watch list, and the town pretty much knows at this point how to deal with that. But it's like, okay, well, you've got 3D12 hours before you turn into a zombie, so we're going to keep you under observation. You get a last meal. Is there any surviving relatives we should contact? We're not in a hurry to kill you, but you're going to die.
Just think how many lives we saved by flushing out that guy that was bitten, that he was hiding it. He could have gone on a rampage and killed dozens.
Yeah, that could have happened any time.
By us.
It's just Kenthis's luck. He tries to do something and just always fails. Can't do anything right. But I'll offer that guy a tiny little vial of the suicide powder and let him know what it's for.
You got it.
Just in case.
All right. So, despite the despite the failure, you guys did not worsen. I mean, overall it was a success, but it wasn't like a huge success. So,
I'm sorry, guys.
Alright.
It all goes wrong when I have to roll.
but at the moment, I'm just going to put like a little plus next to it. You guys haven't successfully changed the relationship die with the town yet, but that will count towards another attempt, another time that you guys try to improve your relations one way or another.
Every time I see
Sound fair?
someone around town, I offer them a high five. And get started on this
Service with a
relationship
smile.
Trying to keep it friendly.
Alright, I don't want to head into the swamp until Aaron is back. He said he'd be back in a moment. So I guess what I'll do...
He's right there.
Oh.
I've been
Okay.
back.
Well, I just saw the message saying you were going away, and before that had happened, your camera went out, and it never came back on until I just clicked on you, so...
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah.
I saw him come back earlier than that.
Yeah.
Weird.
Hangouts is being weird. Alright. So, we are getting near the end of the night for us. I was wondering if there's any special prep that you guys want to do before you head into the swamp.
How are we on rations? Sorry, you go.
Yeah, I just was gonna say, have we asked? Did we ask or tell? We told Ireena about our plans to go to the swamp. Did she have any tips about anything she knew about it? That's the only thing I was gonna ask.
No, because you didn't roll high enough on your icon relationship die.
Oh, okay.
I replaced the skill check with the relationship die.
Yep.
Is essentially what happened there.
That's fine.
I don't have a personal store of gold as far as I'm aware, but yeah, actually I do. I have 50 gold pieces. So Kenthis is feeling a little bad about our treatment of Saul. So just to help out his family, you know, because this dude's gonna have PTSD for the rest of his life. So I'm gonna go give his family.
I'd save that money because we might give him a more PTSD, and you might as well just let it all build up before we try to fix it.
All right, I'll give it to his wife, not Saul. I'll give her 5 gold pieces.
Yeah, we still may yet traumatize Saul some more. I really hope we do.
You really don't like that guy.
Just something about Saul. He's just so kickable.
Well, now that you've removed Paul from the equation, all you have left is Saul. So I can see that too. A little transference going on there.
All right, so I subtracted the gold and gave it to Saul's
No problem.
family people.
No problem. So, swamp is a new terrain for you guys. If you look at the map, and I know you guys have the thing that Bryant has shared a couple of times. Flash just up on the screen anyway for a moment. When you look at the map, the swamp is actually much closer to the town of Barovia than pretty much any other of the features that you might be visiting. So it's a lot easier to reach, but the swamp is also a fairly large area on its own. And once you're in there, mobility could be an issue. Not to mention the usual hazards of the swamp. That's why I wanted to ask you guys if there's any special precautions or special gear that you want to pick up or look into before you head into the swamp next session.
Do we want to get
Definitely a
extra
gator
rope?
net.
Yeah, we want to get. I would say like extra rope and things to help pull us out of the mud and things like
We
that.
probably want to get some poles so we can kind of probe ahead in the swamp.
Also, those can be used to elevate ourselves above the floor when we're camping, so we don't sleep wet.
Yeah.
True.
So that
Alright.
kills you pretty fast.
Hmm. So that gives you some. These things are inexpensive and easily obtained, so it's not like it's going to cost you any real amount of money, just a
We can
gold or
make
two.
poles from the houses we've.
The houses you haven't burnt down yet?
No, from the houses. I guess we can pull apart another if we have to.
Do we want to look into getting some sort of anti-poison stuff? I know a lot of poisonous creatures hang around in swamps.
That's true. Disease as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If we
Well,
can
that
get
would
it.
be slightly more expensive,
Yeah.
and slightly, and also it would be the sort of thing that most people would recommend that you see Madame Ava for. But
Yeah.
I think our
the
bag of white
store
powder
in
is good.
town has been known to stock some of her potions from time to time. They're usually a potion doesn't last long, but they might have something that still has some effect. So the name of the shopkeeper was Bildrith, but what is the name of the shop? I don't remember, but it's right next to the Blood of the Vine Tavern. So you can always pay his shop a visit and see if he has any stock left that might be useful that way. That's going to cost you, though. And I think we'll lead that with next session. That gives me time to figure out what else might be there. And
At this point, we could probably just offer him like fire insurance in exchange for the potion. He'd interpret it as like a mafia sort of thing. You know, it'd be a shame if your shop were to burn down.
I thought in 13th Age it was. We may be playing it differently. That after battles you get like a quote unquote standard gold reward. But then again, we really haven't been having many standard
it's
battles.
per full heal up. I actually
That's
have the reference right in front of me, but I think early on I did it after a couple of battles where treasure seemed likely. And I've been really doing this loot light because personally I'm not into a lot of inventory management.
yeah.
Um, the optional nomad, see, they've got a gold amount per heal up. So at 6th level, that would be 325 gold per character. And that would be the converted value of any items that you might have found and sold, or things you may have liquidated, objects of art, and that sort of thing. It doesn't actually tell you what you get, like more involved tables from D&D do. I've been actually using, though, the optional no math system, which is right next to it in the charts section, and there you would roll, and depending on what you rolled, there's 5 different groups of things that you could get, and mostly it's healing potions, oils, runes, so that you would have like a variety of buffs, but it really doesn't do anything for you for more unique stuff like what you're doing now. Unique stuff like magical items have been pretty much converted from the book, and it's pretty clear as to when this stuff becomes available. But I'm happy ad-libbing stuff if it seems appropriate for the situation. So we can
I was
always
just
do
wondering
that.
if that would be a source of money for us to actually spend. Um, we could always ask Ireena for a loan.
Well,
or we could just tell him to put it on her tab.
I think that unless you've just done a large purchase, we can guess that as a whole the party has about whatever the amount would be for the reward. So for 6th level, rather than 325 per character, multiplying it out, I'd say that at any given time you could probably muster between you 325 for expensive purchases, unless you're explicitly doing a lay plan sort of thing, or you just came back with a major haul, and then I might say, okay, you've got more available, or maybe make a roll for it or something. But most of your day-to-day expenses are taken care of because you now live in in the Burgomaster's Castle mansion, and we really haven't been tracking rations or anything else because it hasn't been necessary.
Right.
And if we ever hit something where a resource is necessarily limited, I'll make that clear before we enter that stage and allow you guys to do a little prep against that, and then we'll keep track of the resource until it's no longer interesting, and then who cares?
Yeah, so I think our tactic for going to the shop is, anti-poison and anti-disease.
All right. So I'll come up with something along those lines for the next session, and then hopefully, if Pierce is with us, it'll give him a chance to chime in on any quick prep that you guys might want to do before you head to the swamp, and then we're going to the swamp. That part, at least, is not questionable. And
Okay.
then that will be 1 to 2 sessions. We'll see how it plays out. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for the almost full 2 hours, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Let me stop the broadcast.